All right, I think I got it going. So now I'll see if I can share my screen. Oops, hold on here. Do you see the exercise in front of you? Awesome, awesome. All right. Okay, so interrupt me if you have a question, okay? So this is number 21. It's on page 1137, 1137. And this one is on capital expenditures. And you don't often see something like this, but it's really good to do in that you see what's coming down the pipe, really, or what kind of capital needs. But probably more importantly, what is a good about doing a capital expenditures budget is that it informs you of how much financing, quite honestly, will be required, or how much capital is going to be needed, whether it's going to come from an owner contribution or from your current cash account or from financing. So I'm just going to read through these and kind of explain them where they go, and then you can just follow along. So the first one is the director of facilities. Okay, a construction contract was signed in late 05 for the construction of a new factory building at a contract cost of $10 million. It's scheduled to begin in 6 and completed in 2009. Okay, well, here's the 10 million, right? The 4 and the 6, but you'd say, how do you know how much goes into 6 and how much goes into 7? You just bear with me and we'll show you that in a different paragraph. So now the vice president of manufacturing. Once the new factory building is finished, we plan to purchase 1.5 million in equipment in late 07. So here's your 1.5 million right there. I expect that an additional 200,000 will be needed early in the following year, 08. So here's your 200,000. And we'll start before we can begin. If sales continue to grow, I expect to invest another 1 million in 9. And there's your 1 million. The COO, we've been really growing lately. I wouldn't be surprised if we need to expand the size of our new factory in 09 by 35%. So if this is the 10 million, and he said increase it by 35%, this is the 3.5 million, or 35% of the total in 09. So that's how we got that. Director of IT, we need to upgrade our information systems to wireless network technology. It doesn't make sense to do this until after the new factory building is completed and producing product. During 8, once the factory is up and running, we should equip the whole facility with wireless technology. I think it would cost us $800,000 today to install the new technology. However, prices are dropping by 25% each year, so it should be expensive at a later date. Well, let's do that. If we were to buy it today, that would be in 6. Then there would have been 800,000 there. But it said we're going to wait till the entire building was complete. So we can't do it in 07, but if we were, it would be 800,000 times 75%, because we're taking 25% off the top. That would have been right here. However, it said we're going to pay for it in 08. So then you just say the same 800,000, this would be in 7. Then this number times another 25% reduction, there's a 75%, that's how we get to 450. That's probably the most confusing number on here, but that's how we get to the 450. And then the CFO, I'm excited about our long-term prospects. My only short-term concern is managing our cash flow while we expend the 4 million in construction in 6, so that's where we got the 4 million, and then the 6 million in 7. So that is a capital expenditures budget. It's just a sample of what one would look like, but it kind of gives you an idea of what to expect or what to plan for going down the road. Any of you have questions on number 21? All right, then I'll move down to problem 2A. And 2A is on page 1139. There's a whole bunch of stuff on 1139, but if you look at page 1140, it says 4 things. Prepare a sales budget, production budget, a direct materials budget, and a direct labor budget. So we always said the very first thing that you always want to start with is the sales budget. So in this case, how they set it up, and I'll tell you again, it doesn't really matter. Ultimately, you're going to get to the same 1,242,000, but they split it out in this case by backyard chef, the model, and the master chef. And you could have broken it out by Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire. But they separated it out by product and then by area. Doesn't matter. This is very important. What is the volume? 910 and 440. You just extend it across and you get your total revenue. Sales budget is pretty straightforward. But this 910 is important, and so is this 440. Because for the production budget, it's the 910 that we are expecting to sell or need to produce. And the same with the Master Chef. That's what we're selling, so we know that we're going to have to produce 440. Well, we've done this before, and a lot of the format is the same. You add what they want to have at the end of July. And if you look at page 1139, letter C, it says they expect or want to have desired inventory at July 31, 40 of the backyard chef and 22. So then we add that, but then we take away what was our beginning inventory, and that's letter B in your text. Letter B, they said they had 30 units to start off with and 32. So what do we really, really have to produce? 920 units, and we should have what we need to take care of July's sales, as well as starting August 1st with a number that we want. All right, that's the production budget, which leads us then to, because of production then, and like every inventoriable item, there's 3 costs to the inventory, right? Direct materials, direct labor, and then some overhead. And this is the direct materials budget. And how much do we need to purchase, which ultimately will also tell us the dollars that are going to be involved. So if we just look at grates, but there's 4 components to this grill: grates, stainless steel, the sub-assemblies, and the shelves. But if we just do the grates, because it runs the same way for all 4 of them, if we look here and it says, okay, how many grates do we need? Well, if you look at letter D, it says to manufacture the backyard chef, we need 3 units per the product. Well, look at here. We set up here, we need to produce 920. 920 times the 3 grates that we are needing for each grill. That's 2,700 grates. The Master Chef, if you look in the book, it says it needs 6 units for each one. Again, we're going to produce 430, so 430 units, each of them needing 6 grates. That's 2,580. Okay. Also, if you go back to letter C, what is the desired inventory? 340. That's how many grates we want to have on hand. How many did we start with? Look at letter B, 290. So now that means we got to purchase 5,390 of grates. That will take care of our July need as well as setting us up for August 1st. The $15 per unit is a total cost that we're going to incur for July only of $80,000, or for July only, 700 and just slight shy of $772,000 are going to be required to produce the direct materials for our grates, or excuse me, for our grills for the month of July, our 2 types. Just like we did here, you know, expected to be sold, add ending, subtract beginning. What we're going to need or produce, add ending, add ending up here, take away what we started with, and that's what we're going to have to purchase, or in the other case, produce or whatnot. So that's that same format. Always, what is our current production, plus what we want to end with, minus what we started with. So there we have our direct materials purchases budget. And then the last one that they ask you to do is a direct labor. And again, what's the three costs? Direct materials, direct labor, and then overhead. And this problem doesn't have you do an overhead budget, but we did one earlier in the exercises, and the overhead budget is pretty straightforward to tell you exactly what the overhead is. And it's going to be one of two things, right? It's going to either be a fixed cost or a variable. And we did it, yeah, like I said, an exercise like that before, and we had one that broke out both fixed and variable parts to that overhead. So in this case, the labor, and if we look at, there's three departments here, stamping, forming, and assembly, but let's just look at stamping. When you look at letter F, stamping, it takes a half an hour to do one grill. Well, again, go back up here, 920 units are needed for the backyard. Remember that, 430. So look at here, 920 units at a half an hour. That's going to take, it's a need of 460 hours. The master chef, it was 430. It takes 6/10 of an hour, or 258 total hours. So that means for the stamping department alone, for the month of July, we have 718 hours needed. 718 hours needed. And we can do this real quick with our calculator, but if 718 is the number, and what we're saying here is, because ultimately what we're going to get down to is, now we know how many hours, but we need to know how many people are we going to need, right? And if it's 40 hours a week, okay, so, and this is for the month. So there's 40 hours per week, 4 weeks in a month, that's 160 hours. 40 times 4 is 160. So if we take 718 divided by 160, that is 4.48 or 4.5 people. So you're either going to need, and we haven't considered forming and assembly yet it looks like it might be different individuals because of the hourly rate. You're going to for sure need 4 people for the stamping, and then you're going to also have to factor in some overtime, because 4 people won't do it. You're going to need 4.5. So either you're going to have to steal someone from the forming to help with a little bit, or you get a 5th person and you move them over to forming to help also. So that kind of gives you an idea of how you would have to figure out how many people you need. And that's kind of the same example I used earlier in this course when we had all the different shifts going on at the manufacturing plant in Canton. We not only ran 2 shifts, we eventually had to move to around the clock. We had 3 shifts going. So in this case, it tells you for the month of July alone, we're going to need 47,000, just shy of 48,000 of labor, cash for labor. We're going to need another about 772,000 just for the direct materials. So a lot of cash needs. That anybody have questions over those 4 budgets: sales, production, direct materials, and direct labor? Anybody have any questions on that? All right, let me stop sharing my screen here. Should be back. So that really takes us to the end of chapter 22. Anybody have any questions over 22? Anybody? All right. So I'll send, I'm not going to make you write it down. I'm going to shoot you another meeting invite for what we'll do on Thursday. And you probably got an email from me already today that I just added a couple extra credit problems for that chapter 25. I think that's about it. So it was a pretty short day. maybe because you're paying for the whole hour and 15 minutes, even though I log off, if you could just stay logged on so that you're getting your money's worth. Anybody else have any questions for me? Any complaints? All right. If you did, that's fine, because then I would just hang up. Then I wouldn't have to listen to it in the. Okay. Anyway, that's enough. If you guys need anything, are you guys done registering, by the way? Have you registered for fall? Got that all done? If you need help with that, you can let me know. I'd be happy to help. But otherwise, you guys have a good day. Get outside. Stay 6 feet apart, but go outside. All right. See you later.